Hello, all my favorite shadow people. We are at the week of May 1st. It's finally starting to warm up a little bit here in the great north, or at least the snow isn't sticking to the ground as long as it usually does. I hope everyone else is enjoying some nice weather. This week we're focusing on codependency and addictions. And I slotted these two together because there's a lot of promotion in society these days for relationships and close interactions and close dependency on other people. I think sometimes that glosses over the fact that codependency or a need of another person to be happy is a form of addiction. Obviously, it's not the only addiction. There's many addictions out there. And I just wanted to focus on the fact that addictions can be boiled down to one main focus. So there's lots of different types of addiction, but really it all comes down to one base fear that we often don't want to face or deal with. And the base fear usually surrounds the fear of being with yourself. So when you look at all these different addictions, things like drug addictions or alcohol or anything that takes you out of your mind is one way of avoiding the discomfort of being with yourself that, if you aren't working through or dealing with your emotions, can get quite loud and quite painful. And then there's the other type of addiction that still boils down to the same thing but looks a little bit different. So for some of us, it's a deep need to achieve, maybe a fixation on what you're eating, or a fixation on working out, or working all the time in general, some kind of job achievement. And there's nothing wrong with achieving. The challenge becomes, are you doing these things to avoid being with yourself? And we're going to look at working on that level of discomfort with self in order to decrease the need to distract our mind from this present moment, because that's the root cause. So if we focus in on that part of ourself that we think is so horrible we can't even stand to be around it, then we start to lessen that desperate need to avoid it through different uses of drugs or alcohol, or even staring at our phone all the time, or always having to watch TV, talking to people all the time, anything that takes us out of the discomfort of ourselves. For our journaling questions this week, we're going to start out with the most focused in question, which is, how do I feel when I'm alone? What am I afraid will happen when I'm alone? What activity do I find myself doing even when I don't want to? Where do I feel discomfort in my body if I am not distracting myself? Do I feel ashamed or worthless when I think about myself? And I'll put those down in the information at the bottom so you can review them and take your time to answer them as you need to. And the activity for today, this shadow practice, is actually pretty simple, just like last week's. I don't think there's any reason someone wouldn't be able to do this one, but if so, you can always go back to other exercises. All that you really need to do for this exercise is have a mirror. We want to be in front of the mirror when we're doing this, taking a deep breath. We want to be feeling our feet pressing into the ground if we're standing up, or our bums pressing down into the seat if we're sitting down. Something to ground us as we pay attention to the reflection. Usually when we look in the mirror, we're going to have lots of ideas about ourselves, lots of opinions and judgments and critiques for things that we need to improve. Sometimes if you stare long enough, you don't even look like yourself anymore. But all we need to do when we look in the mirror is ask ourselves the question, can I love myself? And then if you need to close your eyes and consider that question, you can. But otherwise, continue to look And not necessarily thinking about the answer to the question, can I love myself? But trying to feel, if you could feel, what that would feel like in your body. That sensation of warmth and closeness with yourself. And see what comes up when you ask yourself that, because those are the emotions that you need to be processing. Experiencing them fully, trying not to judge them, welcoming them into the body as much as possible. And you can do this exercise whenever you need to. You can even make it a practice every morning when you brush your teeth. But anytime you're feeling a lot of negative energy towards yourself or the deep desire to avoid yourself, simply a mirror and that question, can I love myself? With the attempt to feel what that would feel like, will make a big difference in starting to be comfortable with you just being you. The more you can look without thinking, the more you can just appreciate your mere existence, which is really all we have to do to be loved in this world, is to exist. And for our final grounding exercise today, we're going to feel the energy in our body. So we haven't done this one before, but it's pretty simple. You can do it anywhere, sitting or standing. Some people can naturally feel the energy in their body, but other people need help. But the quickest way to start is taking your hands. Some people will slap their hands together a little bit. Some people like to just rub them together as if you're trying to warm them by the fire. And then you separate your hands just a little bit. And with your eyes closed, feeling the energy between your hands. And once you've got to the point where you can feel that energy, you may need to rub your hands a couple times or slap them together a couple times just to get familiar on a deeper level of what that actually feels like. Once you can feel that energy, the idea is to try to start to feel it in all parts of your body. So usually starting with the hands and then moving from the hands. Sometimes the feet are easier for people. You're absolutely welcome to try to feel that. And some people like to do this before they go to bed. It's a good way to clear your mind. It's just starting to grow and feel that energy that's everywhere in your body. So the aliveness, starting in your fingers, moving up through the arms. If you can get your whole body to feel that at once, you can try to expand that energy feeling. And it can be really relaxing. And it can also make you feel a sense of your own body's power and aliveness. So that's it. Easy and short this week. We will be coming out with further astrology and shadow work episodes starting with Mars, hopefully in the next week. And if you want to hear more and follow us for our weekly practices that come out on Sunday, feel free to subscribe.